It feels like that the collective that I'm reading for today is really being challenged around believing in yourself and being able to see yourself clearly. It feels like there's a part of you that has felt kind of down about yourself, I guess is the best way to put it, where you're doubting. You're doubting your capabilities, you're doubting your power, you're doubting how limitless you actually are. And I'm feeling guided to give this message to you to help you to remember how strong and how powerful and how limitless you actually are. You are capable of anything in this world. Anything that you want for yourself, you can create. I think it's important to also acknowledge that we are not creating on our own. We are creating with source, with divine, with spirit, with God, whatever you want to call it, which makes our co creations even better. I'm getting an energy that I'm talking to a collective of people who really, have always made ends meet. So even when things have looked meek or dark, I don't know if that makes sense there. I don't know, it came through. But even when things have looked not great or bleak was the word, or dark, you've always been able to overcome them. You've always been able to figure it out. You've always been able to move forward. You've always been able to overcome. And since that has been your experience over and over and over again, I'm feeling a little bit of confusion from your guides and from your team around, did you just forget who you are? Did you just forget everything that you've been through and everything that you've overcome and everything that you've learned? Did did you just forget all of that? Because it's feeling like you need a reminder of who the F you are. You've always overcome. You've always been able to figure things out. I'm talking to somebody who's very smart, very intelligent, who has book smarts, but also has street smarts. And it feels like the street smarts are coming from experiences that were not the easiest, nor were they enjoyable. It feels kind of painful in some ways. But is also only shows how powerful and how far you've actually come and what you are truly capable of. I'm speaking to somebody who has a really big heart and really big dreams and has this thing that they want to create or this thing that they want to bring to life. And they're doubting their ability to do it. It's kind of like I'm seeing um a puzzle and someone who's trying to put this puzzle together and they're feeling really overwhelmed by the puzzle. It feels like this dream that you have on your heart that you know is your purpose and you know is meant for you to bring to this reality and is meant to be helpful for others as well as healing for yourself is really causing overwhelm. It's causing doubt. It's causing fear. And it feels like you're looking at it from a very big picture perspective. And when you look at all of the things that need to be done or all the things that you need to put in place to get this thing moving or to even start this thing, it feels like I'm just feeling a lot of anxiety. I'm feeling a lot of overwhelm. Like I can feel my heart chakra beginning to be blocked. And what that's saying to me is like there's like this self-deprecating kind of talk that's very internal, that's coming from, excuse me, having to see this thing, like having to envision this thing. It feels like you're getting really far ahead of everything. You're struggling to start because you're being overwhelmed by everything that you would need to do to get to the end product, but we're not there yet. And so what I'm hearing is let yourself be okay with doing it imperfectly. Let yourself be okay with learning as you go. Let yourself create this thing that you can go back and fix afterwards. I mean, what would it be like to create a rough draft of this thing? And once the rough draft is done, be able to correct and fix and learn and move forward from that. It feels like there's just this um, difficulty with letting yourself be imperfect, letting yourself kind of flop or fall, or I don't want to say fail because I don't think that it's a failing exactly, but it's kind of like not doing it at all because fear that it won't work out. Like that's what's coming through really strongly, right? So like not even making an effort or trying because if I do, it's not going to work out anyway, so what's the point? And I'm making that face because how do you know? How do you know unless you try? How do you know unless you put the effort in? How do you know unless you try? You can't possibly know how it's all going to turn out. And, one thing that's coming up is kind of like the idea that a lot of the time when we do things, we want to be able to do this thing perfectly or not at all, right? And instead of recognizing that we kind of have to start out messy and learn as we go, and that's okay too. You don't have to be perfect the first try. Actually, nobody is perfect within the first try of doing things. And if they continue to do that thing over and over again and work on it, they always get better. So there's always a chance of you getting better, but there's no chance of you getting better or progressing if you don't even give yourself a chance to start or try. I'm hearing that, like, when you're feeling overwhelmed by the idea of what you're doing and creating in your purpose, let yourself take a break from it. Let yourself focus on something else. It's feeling like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, first off, is like what's coming through with that way of doing it. But it also feels like you're overdoing in some ways. And like this push that you're kind of pushing yourself to go through is only adding pressure, which is like part of the overwhelm. And so put that thing down. Go do something that brings you joy and happiness. And then maybe come back to it on a different day. Come back to it at a different time. Come back to it in a different mindset. When you're getting caught in that cycle of thought, of doubt and worry, like I think it's part of your brain and you just being like overstimulated by that thing. And that's okay, it happens. And so part of what's happening too is that you're learning balance. You're learning when to push forward and continue down the path towards the goal, and when to kind of like lay off that and focus on other things or spend time doing other things. Like it feels like part of the overwhelm is this over focus. It's like a tunnel vision. Like I'm seeing just like this tunnel vision kind of way of looking at this purpose that's overwhelming and adding pressure. Your purpose is not supposed to be something that brings you pressure and makes you feel anxiety and nervousness. It's supposed to be something that you enjoy doing, that you enjoy the process of. And I I want to say though that it's not it doesn't always feel good in the beginning. And what I mean by that is that when we do start to step in our purpose, a lot of the times our shadow starts to show up. And I would say that the self doubt aspect or the doubting and not seeing yourself clearly part is your shadow surfacing. And your shadow is surfacing because you're doing something new. I mean, anytime we're doing something new that we haven't done before, we're going to have the shadow surface, right? And this is kind of why I say like the shadow work is never done. He'll show up out of nowhere. Every time you take a step and you move closer and closer to your purpose, or you do something different, or you do something, it's coming. It will come for you. And not in a negative way, but it it's normal for us to doubt. It's a normal part of experience in this body, in this human brain. It's normal to doubt. How much you feed that, that's a choice. How much you focus on that, that's a choice, right? And so what I'm hearing is when that's coming up, don't stay there. Don't stay in that space and continue to cycle and be self-deprecating in that space or negative towards yourself. Let yourself say, okay, it's time to put this down, and just take it as that kind of experience where it's time to take a break, and I will try again tomorrow when I'm in a better headspace. I'll try again, whatever, right? Um, a lot of the times, though, our purpose is something that does bring up a lot of shadow and a lot of fear. And it's partially because, if your purpose was easy, everybody be doing it. Right? And we're here to learn. So you're learning as you are moving towards your purpose. And so it's going to bring up uncomfortable feelings. And it's not about shoving them or dismissing them or suppressing them. It's about learning how to look them in the face, acknowledge them, and do it anyways. I always say to my clients, it's about like holding hands with your fear and moving forward. Everybody feels fear. It's normal. Everybody has self doubt. It's normal. But the difference between someone who is successful compared to someone who isn't is that the person who is successful feels it and has learned to feel it and do it anyways. It's learning to manage it. It's so funny. What's coming through right now is, I don't know who it was, but they said something about like my ego comes in and tells me mean things all the time, and I just kick that thing and put it in the corner. Or Brene Brown would talk about, she would call it her gremlin. And she would talk about how it would come up and she would just, kick that gremlin into the back of the car. Or I had clients I used to use the gremlin thing with, and they would say, put it in the microwave, right? Like, it's there for everybody. We all feel it. And it's not about avoiding it. Avoiding it is not doing it because of it. It's learning to move forward with it. It's learning to get comfortable with those emotions and let them be present while you still choose the path that you want to move forward. And that's what is powerful. That's what makes you limitless. It's acceptance, right? It's acceptance of what is normal, but not letting it be what keeps us from our desires, what keeps us from our dreams, what keeps us from our goals, right? It's about, I mean, it takes practice, but it's about just learning how to feel it and not let it overtake you, not let it win, right? And we're all capable of doing that. But the more that you avoid it and you just put it off without trying, the more you're letting it win. And that's not teaching you how to manage it. That's not teaching you how to keep it under control. That's not teaching you how to face it. You can only face it by facing it. And you're powerful enough to face it and continue forward. You can do anything. You are limitless. And the reality is the more that you practice that and face it, the more you will feel limitless, the more you will feel confident, the better you will get. You don't get better at doing these things without trying and putting effort in. You have to do to learn. It doesn't just come. And the other thing is too is like y- a lot, there is like a certain amount of things that matter when it comes to beliefs and how you think and how you talk to yourself, right? And those pieces, yes. And though you can't change the way that you think if you don't do and practice, because you learn how to think differently and you are able to see things from a different perspective by doing them, because you're able to see how you can overcome things. I don't know if that really makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But it's a yes, and it's a both, right? Yes, you need to shift your beliefs and stuff, but how do you know what beliefs need to shift if you're not doing the thing to try to get to where you want to go? That comes with the experience. That comes with practice. That comes with doing. You are an eternal soul. You can do many more things than you even remember that you are capable of doing. Let yourself try. Let yourself move forward. Let yourself reach. One of my favorite quotes was like, at least if I shoot for the moon, I'll land in the stars, or something like that. You may not end up exactly where you think you're supposed to, or where you're meant to, where you want to go, right? Or where you think you're supposed to go. That's actually the surprise and thrill of life. We can't logically see where we're supposed to end up, but it doesn't mean that where we do end up isn't just as beautiful and just as much meant for us. So wake up. Remember who the F you are. Remember how powerful you are. Remember how many lives you've lived through. Remember all of the experiences that you've had in this life and how you've overcome them. You can do anything. You need to believe that. You need to be your biggest cheerleader, and the rest will follow. I'm going to leave the message there. I do help people kind of move through some of these things. I do empowerment coaching. I also help with like shifting beliefs and things like that as well, helping you understand differently, creating plans so that you can be successful if that's something that you're open to or would like. Take a look at my bio for those different things. If you need some help with emotions, I got a prompt journal in my bio that I just created, which is so cool. And just know that you got this. Keep going. I love you.